This year, Brexit finally seemed to come to a head 3.5 years after the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union. It seems they're a whole lot closer to actually doing it.
Boris Johnson has been to see the Queen again. His Conservative Party's victory yesterday, big enough to offer him a clear path ahead on his drive to lead Britain out of the European Union by the end of next month.
I think one of the things that struck me the most this year was that when Boris Johnson finally got a mandate from the people as opposed to just the Conservative Party, he came out, he stood outside of Downing Street, and he actually spoke to the Remainers.
To those who did not vote for us or for me, and who wanted and perhaps still want to remain in the EU. And I want you to know that we will never ignore your good and positive feelings of warmth and sympathy towards the other nations of Europe.
We'll have to wait and see whether he actually lives up to that promise not to forget those people and their desires. But it was a moment just because it has been so missing over the past 3.5 years.
Helicopters are hovering overhead. Police have closed down the street here. There's a real feeling of turmoil because of all the uncertainty about what could happen next. I think the challenge was to explain to Canadians why this matters so much to people and why they feel so strongly for or against the European Union.
If Brexit's a circus, here's the sideshow. Outside Parliament, every day, they're demanding a referendum redo.
There's been intense polarization. People feel very, very passionately about staying in or leaving the European Union. And one of the aims every day, every time we covered this, was to tell audiences in Canada how passionately people felt and why they felt that way, and what impact this would actually have on one of the, for many people would say, one of the most important democracies in the Western world. And now, after failing to deliver Brexit on time twice, she could be forced out the door even sooner than planned.
Nearly 70% of people here voted to leave the European Union back in 2016.
The problem with covering a story like Brexit is that it can be very bureaucratic, but it's also at its core, it's very emotional because it's about destiny, it's about where people want to see their country going, and you have to get to the core of that emotion to make it translate.
I feel angry at the EU, the people that are running it and telling us what we have to do, and most of it is to suit them.
The minute you get to the core of the emotion, then I think it is translatable, and particularly to Canadians, because, you know, we have Quebec, we have a history with referendums, so I think Canadians are interested in these kinds of debates, especially when they divide society.